I was married to a narcissist and didn't realize it until I left him. Don't make my mistakes.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started.
I was married to a narcissist and didn't realize it until I left him. Don't make my mistakes. When I was a teenager, I married my high school sweetheart. He was joining the military and had me convinced that if we didn't get married, I would never see him again. The red flags started when he told me he didn't like friends A and B. We fought about them often. But they had been my best girlfriends since junior high, and I didn't want to totally give them up. I'm just worried about who they hung out with. I'm worried about your safety. They're not good friends. They don't want us to be together, he said. We moved several states away from our hometown, and then things got progressively worse. I had my belly button pierced, wanting to surprise him, thinking it was sexy. Why did you do that? You didn't ask me. You changed your body without talking to me first? I get confused and upset, saying it was a surprise for him since he had said they were attractive. Then he said, "It's okay, hon. I forgive you. You just need to ask me first." I felt ashamed that I didn't realize that I needed to ask him first. What a bad wife I was already, I had thought. The first time he showed his true temper was when I folded the towels wrong. I had mixed in the blue towels with the white towels. He wanted them to separate. I'm trying so damn hard to give you nice things, and you can't see that, he yelled, standing in the doorway before storming off. This looks terrible. You can't mix them. I cried, but brushed it off as he's just stressed from work. He told me he didn't want me to go to college in town like we had discussed before we got married. I might get transferred. You can't go to school. You need to be with me. He had said that. I agreed, so I worked and saved money for school whenever that would be. He was happy I had made friends, but then he would become angry. I would go have girl time. I just fucking miss you, okay? I work so hard for you, and I want to see you when I get home. He would yell at me. So I skipped seeing friends to avoid fights. I wanted to fly home to visit my parents for a few days. We were driving down a highway and it was brought up, and he started screaming at me. Don't you think I want to go see my family too? And you're leaving me here. His face was beet red, and he had pulled into an empty parking lot to yell more. This time I was so scared. I didn't say anything and just silently cried. We went to the beach with friends. When we left, he told me I was too quiet today, and how dare I embarrass him in front of everyone. Then asked me why you were so quiet. Ask what's wrong with you. He screamed at me as we were driving home. I cried. He pulled over at an ice cream shop and got me my favorite cone. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. I just don't want you to be moody around our friends. It's embarrassing. I had to realize I was being quiet. I'll have to try harder next time, I thought. He would pick fights with me about the dishes or putting groceries away wrong, and I eventually didn't have the strength to fight back. I would try to hide in the bathroom hoping he'd come down, but he would follow me and pound on the door threatening to break it down. The housing people will be pissed if I break this door down. You'd better open it before that happens. He convinced me to let go of my access to our bank account and let him handle everything. It's stressing you out? Just let me handle it, he said. From then on, I needed his login and password to sign in, which he kept changing, making me come to him with questions about our finances. It was so confusing because he would shower me with affection and grand gestures, making me believe we were soulmates. But then he would yell at me for doing something wrong. I never spoke to anyone about it, was afraid they wouldn't believe me, and I didn't fully know how to explain it because he was so charming and everyone loved him. I wasn't being a good wife, I was doing something wrong. I would think. I didn't know that his behavior wasn't normal. I thought I was a bad wife and started to become massively depressed without fully understanding why. That tipping point was when we were screaming at me about wanting to go out with my friends. I was pressed into the couch holding back tears, and I got up to walk away to lock myself in the bedroom. When he stepped in front of me and pushed me back into the living room, I left the house. I went for a walk. When I came back, he apologized, saying, "I just love you so much. You need to spend your time with me." I pushed to go back to college and demanded that he let me sign up. That's when he admitted that he had spent the $15,000 I had saved up working at shit fast food job before we got married. "You can't go. There's no money, but I swear I'll earn it back." He had lied to me for years about how much was in savings, making me think I had even more than before we had gotten married. We fought a lot. I suggested we go to counseling. He fell asleep during a session. He never really listened to what I was saying and would tell me my feelings were wrong and why he was right after we would leave the counselor's office. Over time, if I did something wrong, he would yell at me about how his family thinks we should just divorce since I was being so difficult, such a bad wife. But that he loved me too much to do that. I stayed with him for 3 years before I got the nerve to leave him, and at that point, I was absolutely terrified of him. He got an assignment overseas, not deployment, just an assignment, and I took the opportunity to leave him. I felt like a terrible person for leaving him while he was away. Like a complete coward. But I was so scared he wouldn't let me leave and scared he would make it physical. My new friends didn't believe me when I tried to explain what had been happening. He was so funny and sweet after all. He spread rumors that I was partying and cheating on him, and that destroyed all of my relationships with my friends and acquaintances. He got his friends to spread rumors about me so much, so that at one point, I had a total stranger ask me at my work if I was that whore at my job on base. That was screwing around on her husband. And he even managed to tarnish my reputation in our very small hometown, cutting some already small ties. He refused to sign the divorce papers, keeping me trapped in limbo for almost an entire year, pulling power grabs and making false promises. But once it was finalized, I was so fucking relieved. I didn't care that I was basically alone and had almost no one. Not even my family fully believed me. Him? No, he's so nice. Maybe you could have tried harder. I don't believe he would yell at you for stuff like that. So if you're still reading after this long post, I just want to say please don't repeat my mistakes. If you feel like something is off, do not brush it aside of continuously make excuses for someone's bad behavior. If someone is showering you with affection and screaming at you or putting down over small things, that's not love. That's not love at all. That's control and a power grab. It wasn't until years later that I saw an episode of somehow featuring a narcissist husband when I realized that's what I had been experiencing. And I just wish I had known about those types of twisted behaviors when I was that dumb kid back then. It might have saved me from a very dark period in my life.